Hi, I'm Brian Worley for the Photographer Academy, and in this video I'm going to talk about white balance. Your cameras will automatically work out the white balance for you using a tool called automatic white balance. In most of the scene modes and the automated modes, automatic white balance is set by default, so you can't change it. But when you're using program mode, shutter priority, aperture priority or manual, you can choose the white balance on the camera specifically. There are a number of settings in addition to automatic white balance. These settings include daylight, tungsten lights, shade, cloudy, and often you get a fluorescent setting and a flash setting. Some cameras, including this one, have the option for a custom white balance, and more the mid-range and the advanced cameras will usually include a Kelvin white balance, where you can actually dial in a specific Kelvin temperature. Kelvin is a measurement used to determine the color temperature of the light source used to light your subject. Automatic white balance looks at the picture you've actually taken, so white balance is applied after the pictures are captured by the camera. And what it does is it looks at the lighting within the frame and tries to identify the different kinds of light sources that have lit different parts of the frame. So if you have an environment where you've got mixed lighting, so you've got a mixture of daylight and tungsten bulbs, or maybe street lights and car headlights, the camera tries to identify the light sources and their color and correct them individually within one frame. So it's not applying a single white balance to the picture, it applies multiple white balances to different sections. When you choose a preset white balance, like daylight or the tungsten ones, then actually the camera applies a much narrower range of temperatures it can correct for. So in most sunny conditions, the daylight white balance works really well. However, when it gets overcast, and so you get a more cloudy environment, the cloudy white balance adds a little bit of warmth, so it helps the colours look a little bit nicer in cloudy conditions, when actually the lighting's typically much flatter and a little bit cooler. When you work under fluorescent lights, they have quite a green cast to them, and so the fluorescent white balance will help remove that green cast automatically for you. For the best and most accurate white balance, when colour is critical, you can use the custom white balance. So the way to do this is you can actually take a picture of something that's neutral. Ideally a grey card, because then you've got a kind of central tone. And you make this important that you hold the grey card so that it's under the same light as your subject. Then you take a picture of that grey card, and from the camera's menus, you would choose to use that image as your reference image. The camera then measures that, sets the white balance internally, and then will apply that fixed white balance to all the pictures it takes while you've got that preset, that custom white balance set. Some of the more advanced cameras also add a Kelvin temperature mode. And what that does is it allows you to dial in a specific color temperature directly into the camera. Between the custom white balance and the Kelvin temperature, the custom white balance is perhaps more useful on location, where you're not quite sure of what the light's going to be, whereas the Kelvin temperature is great in a studio where you've got a fixed output from your lights. You know that your studio lights or your continuous lights are always going to be the same color whilst you shoot a number of different shots. So here we are, we've got a great scene which gives us a good range of colors to demonstrate automatic white balance and how we can use different white balances in this particular light. So we're using daylight, it's quite nice bright sunshine today. So let's just take the picture and then we'll look. Just taken the picture now, and I can see that the automatic white balance has done a good job. In this kind of daylight light, we've got one tone of light, one color of light on our subjects. But when we want to try and see what the effect of using, say, a tungsten white balance setting, you'll see that the tungsten setting adds a lot of blue to the frame, so the sky will become bluer, and the red in the car will be moved as a lot more purple colors. We'll see some change in the trees as well, for example. The cloudy and the shade settings will typically add more warmth to the frame, so we get a little bit more orangey, a little bit warmer feel to them. Some people use a cloudy or a shade setting a lot when they shoot with flash, because that adds a little bit warmth to what flash, which sometimes can feel a little bit cold. Finally, we've got a picture, we'll use the same picture and we'll process it with the flash white balance setting. So you can see it for a comparison. So now we've seen how white balance and making the right choice affect how your pictures are going to look. I'm Brian Worley for the Photographer Academy, and I'll see you in the next video.